Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
In the domain of mudras, there is another interesting aspect, I would say, which is the raga mudra. And this is very, very useful in terms of identifying the raga of a composition. Of course, all composers do not go about incorporating the name of the raga in their composition. And so, you have to really have an understanding of the raga system, the characteristics of the raga to identify what raga a particular composition is. But one pioneer in this concept of raga mudra, in fact, he has incorporated this aspect in most of his compositions, is none other than Sri Muthuswami Dikshidhar. And this raga mudra serves several purposes. First, of course, in terms of helping us understand what ragam that particular composition is in. And sometimes, when you look back historically, you also see that sometimes we use the name or the terminology in a wrong way, and the composition actually acts as a guide for us to help us know, like for example, the ragam Dvajavanti, Jujavanti, Jayajayavanti, like this, there are different names as we see when we keep on telling it. But the composition Akhilandeshwari, you see that Jujavanti Raganote Jujavanti. So clearly he makes a indication here that it is Jujavanti, that is a name. Or if you look at the Chaturdasha Ragamalika of Dikshidhar, where we say Shama, Shyama, Sama, like this. So where Samagana Vinotam, so Sama is the name of the ragam. So like this, the raga mudra serves multiple purposes, I would say. Now, in the case of Dikshidhar, we see that sometimes the raga name is explicitly found in the composition. Sometimes he makes it hidden in the composition in the sense that according to the meaning of the particular line, it takes its kind of position. Now, if you look at compositions where clearly you can find this raga mudra, for example, Kalavati Kamalasana Yuvati Kalavati Kamalasana Yuvati. Kalavati, of course, refers to goddess Saraswati, it's her name. And here the name Kalavati is also happens to be the name of the ragam here. So, where here you see that the name is incorporated with a sense of meaning with the Sahityam, that's very, very important. And that's where I would also say that Dikshidhar stands absolutely tall in seeing where the raga mudra can be very appropriately incorporated into the composition such that it flows along with the Sahitya, it flows along with the meaning. Another example, let's look at it. In the composition, Matangi Shri Raja Rajeshwari, where you see that in the Charanam, Rama Mano Hari Rakedu Shekari Sukakari Rama Mano Hari. Of course, here also there is some trick in the sense that if there are multiple names of the Devi coming in, if you are not aware what the ragam is, you may be in a kind of a confused state as to what is the name of that ragam or what is the raga mudra. So here it is Rama Manohari, that is the name. And also here you have to understand that Dikshidhar used a different nomenclature than Tyagarajar. So what is Rama Manohari in Dikshidhar school is Ramapriya in Tyagaraja school. So we also must have some awareness about all this, that the same ragam also carries different names in the two systems. For example, another raga which comes to my mind is popularly what we call as Purvi Kalyani in the Tyagaraja school. That becomes Gamaga Kriya in the Dikshidhar school. So you would see that the name itself is incorporated in that very beautiful monumental composition of Dikshidhar, me nakshi me mudode, where ga ma ga kriye as an embodiment of gamaka. She is telling Meenakshi, goddess Meenakshi. So that fitness or the appropriateness is very, very important. Here again, if you look at Purvi Kalyani in this particular composition, you will not find that name because that name belongs to the Tyagaraja school. So he uses ga ma ga kriye. Now, Dikshadhar sometimes also plays with the words to give us the Raga Mudra in a hidden manner. For example, if you take the composition Sri Saraswati, it's slightly difficult. If you don't look at it intently, you'll be wondering where is that Raga Mudra hidden there. So, Sri Saraswati Namostute Varade Sri Saraswati Namostute. In the Samashti Charana, the Madhyama Kala Sahityam, संसार विद्यापगे सकल मंत्राक्षर गोहे संसार विद्यापगे who remove samsara vidyapahe, one who removes the fear of from the samsara. So that is the actual meaning, but samsara vidyapahe. So the word Arabi is actually hidden between these two words, and you have to be very extra careful if you want to find out the Raga Mudra. Another beautiful example is, of course, a very rare composition of Dikshadhar in the Ragam Ramakali, where you see Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. So here, where is the word Ramkali? Now, the appropriateness again is of value here. That's what we want to see here. So, if you look at it, Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. So, O Rama, Kali Kalusha Virama, or one who puts an end to the sins of Kali Yuga. That is how he has used that first line, Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. Now, the same particular line, if we kind of transpose the accent and say Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. So, if you add that Kali to the front portion, Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama, then the Rama Kali, that Raga name comes into fore and you get the name of the Raga Mudra. Once again, let's see. Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. Now let's put together the Ramakali together and sing. Then you'll be able to see that the name Ramakali, the Raga Mudra, comes like Rama Rama Kali Kalusha Virama. See how beautifully he has incorporated the Raga Mudra. A great genius, I would say. Another example, Parandhamavati Jayati, Parandhamavati Jayati, Parvati Paramesha Yuvati, Parandhamavati Jayati. So here the Raga Mudra is Dhamavati. Again, you should be aware of the name of that particular Ragam both in the Tyagarajar school and Dikshadhar school. Tyagarajar calls it Dharmavati, and the later composers also which have composed in this, like Mysore Vasudevacharya and others, they address it only as Dharmavati, whereas Dhamavati is the name by which Dikshadhar calls it. So in that first sentence, how beautifully with the meaning it comes, Parandhamavati Jayati Parvati Paramesha Yuvati, all the names of the Ambal coming one after the other in sequence. Another very popular composition, Maghaganapatim Manasa Smarami Maghaganapatim, where you see Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam Mushika Vagana Bodaga Priyam Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam. So he is referring to Lord Ganesha here, Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam, one who loves Kavya and Nataka, that's poetry and drama. So Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam. So if you look at it intently, Mahakavya Nata, that ragam is also incorporated in that particular sentence as part of that line, you can see that. Now Dikshadhar, again there is another aspect here where you see that just like his Guru Guha Mudra, which is to be found in any place in the composition, similarly you have to be very extra vigilant, I would say, in terms of seeing where this Raga Mudra actually comes. Now sometimes it may come in the Pallavi itself, like for example if you look at the composition, Ma Ma Meenakshi, where the name of the raga Varali comes like Varali Veni Ma Ma Varali. Or for example another composition, Kanchadala Yadakshi Kamakshi Kamala Manohari. The name Kamala Manohari, the raga's name, comes in the Pallavi itself. Now sometimes, as I said, in the Charanam also somewhere it will come according to the meaning, like in the composition Kamalam Bam Bajare. The Charanam, referring to Ambal here again, Nitya Kalyani Katyayani Nitya Kalyanim. So he addresses Ambal as Nitya Kalyanim here, and the ragam Kalyani is also incorporated. And as I said, also in the composition with the Pallavi and the Samashti Charana, in the Pallavi itself as an introduction you see the name of the ragam, like we sang earlier also, Parandhamavati Jayati. In the first introduction line of the Pallavi itself you see that it's there. Now in the composition with the Samashti Charanam, like we saw here in the compositions earlier also, we took like the composition Sri Saraswati Samsara Vidyapage in the Samashti Charanam, or the same composition which we did earlier, Mahakavya Natakadi Priyam, in the composition Mahaganapatim Manasasparami in the Ragam Nata. Now coming to a monumental work, I would say, of Sri Muthuswami Dikshadhar in terms of the compositional style, structure, characteristics, and also specifically I would say of incorporating the Raga Mudra in the most effective manner, is the Chaturdasa Raga Malika of Muthuswami Dikshadhar. Like this in all Raga Malikas, in fact we find that it is essentially seen that the Raga Mudra is incorporated somewhere in the composition. Like if you look at the Ranjani Mala, you would see that very popular composition, the names of the different Ranjani, Sri Ranjani, Megha Ranjani, Mano Ranjani, like that, all that is incorporated in the composition itself. Coming back to the Chaturdasa Raga Malika, we see that it starts off with Shri Vishwanatham bhajeham Shri Vishwanatham bhajeham. In this particular composition, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that apart from the beautiful incorporation of the Raga Mudra, there are also the other mudras incorporated that which gives you kind of an introduction to what the composition is all about. For example, here Shri Vishwanatham bhajeham. Shri Vishwanatham bhajeham. So obviously this is in praise of Lord Vishwanatha. And first aspect I would like to draw your attention is how Sri has been used as a reverence for Vishwanatha, and Shri also happens to be the raga in which this particular stanza is composed in. The first part of this is composed in the ragam Shri. And in Shri again, see, this is the greatness of all the composers where they really touch the heart of every raga through the phrases that they use. Here, Shri Vishwa Ri Riga Risa. So Ri is a very, very bold and important note here. Like you would have also seen in the Pancharatnam, Ri Ga Ri Sa Ni Sa Sa Ri Sa Sa Ri Sa Ni Ni Ga Ga Ri Sa Ri Ga Ri Sa Ni. So that Ri, Shri all come together here, the ragam Shri, the word Shri, so it starts, and you see that immediately the Ri Ga Ri Sa, which is so vital to the Shri ragam, is encompassed in this very phrase itself. So that's where again I would say the great Vagakaras, they don't beat around the bush. They immediately give you the raga on its face. That's what I wanted to say here. Like Shri, he stands there and then Vishwanatham. Then the second line, Bhajeham. The second line is again important in terms of conveying some more mudras to us, like Chaturdasha Bhuvana. So there are supposed to be 14 worlds. So Chaturdasha means 14. So symbolizing these 14 worlds, this particular Ragamalika is in Chaturdasa. That is, it is composed in 14 ragas. So symbolizing the 14 worlds, he has used 14 ragas to create this particular Ragamalika. Then also, what is this form that he has composed? So, Chaturdasha Bhuvana Rupa Ragama Leka Bharana Rupa Ragamalika. Ragamalika. So he also tells you that this is a Ragamalika. Now, let's look at a few phrases here and there to see. We can't be singing the whole composition here because it's quite long. So just to see where all he uses the Raga Mudra very appropriately. So as in the beginning, Shri Vishwanatham Bhajeham, where the Sri Ragam came in, or Mohana Karalingam, Mohana Karalingam. In the stanza or the section in Mohanam, the mudra Mohana Karalingam comes there, or Samagana Vinotam in the section on Shama Raga, Samagana Vinotam, or the section in Lalita, Lalita Hridaya. So the Lalita, that ragam comes in. Like this we see that in every section he beautifully incorporates that particular ragam, like other sections Saranga is there, and other Devakriya, Kamboji, Shankarabharnam, all these ragams are beautifully incorporated into the particular composition. So that way this Ragamalika again especially this particular Raga Malika is very, very important in terms of many aspects, I would say. Now, beyond this, as I always mention, the composer's mind is always in a kind of, wanting to create new things always. Somebody has created something, somebody who comes after that tries a step further in terms of the creation. So, we see that after this, we also have what we call as the Raga Tala Malika. Now, we have the 72 Raga Malikas also been composed. We also have what is called as the 72 from that, apart from that, the 108 Raga Tala Malika composed by Sri Ramaswamy Dikshidhar, which is dedicated to Venkata Krishna Mudaliyar, a great patron of arts, I would say. He belonged to Manali, and in his honor this was composed. And these are all very technical kind of compositions which we do not find in a concert. Obviously, singing the 108 ragas would take such a very, very long time. So, these are not part of the concerts, but then they are very, very valuable to us in terms of understanding many technical aspects of our music, like the raga lakshanas, then the talas. Of course, in kacheris, we see that we popularly use only the talas like Adi, Ropaga, Mishra Chapu, Kanda Chapu. But what are the 108 talas? What are their rangas? For all these are all very, very important. The next composer I come here is a very important one, is the Kotiswara Iyer, who has composed 72 compositions in the 72 Melagartha ragas, all in Tamil in praise of Lord Muruga. And he has used again very deftly the names of the ragas, like for example, if you take the raga composition, Moghana Kara Muthu Kumara Srikara Karuna Karavara Marul Moghana Kara, where in the Charanam, Niti Mati Taldarul Nidaya Niri Niti Mati Taldarul Nidmati Raga, or in this composition, Yedayagati Budala Chalanata Budala Chalanata Nintartan Kati. Or another of his composition in Charukesi, Nidanappa Apara Kripaga, where Ma Charukesi Vallisha Masil Ma Charukesi. Another composition in Jyoti Swarupini, Gana Amuda Panam Jyoti Swarupini Shakti Fair Arulana Uyogana Amuda Panam. So, like this, in the compositions of Kotiswara Iyer, we see that in the compositions he composed in the 72 Melakarta ragas, in each of the ragas, starting from Kanakangi, Ratnagi, Ganamurti, like that, you see that in every composition of his, he incorporates the name of the ragam in that. So, this becomes a valuable guide also in terms of there being no ambiguity, I would say, in terms of what ragam that particular composition is. So, you would find the raga name embedded in that particular composition itself. Of course, Kotiswara Iyer, apart from the 72 Melagartha raga compositions, he has also composed other compositions, but there, that is in the Janya ragas. These are all Janaka ragas or the Sampurna ragas or Mela ragas. He is also composed in the Janya ragas. So, there you see that he does not incorporate the mudra. For example, if you take the composition like Varana Mukha Vatune Varuva, which is in Hamsadhvani, you won't find the name of the ragam Hamsadhvani incorporated. So, the purpose is there here that because it is in the 72 Melagartha ragas, he has incorporated these 72 raga names. Now, sometimes we also see that accidentally the name of the ragam may be there. It may be, it's like kind of not a deliberate attempt, like in the case of Dikshadhar or Kotiswara Iyer. For one example, we can take of Sri Tyagarajar, Mohana Rama, Mohana Rama, Mohana Rama means the beautiful Rama. So again, this is set in the Mohana Ragam, so it serves a twin purpose. And whether it came out extempore on the spot or whether it was deliberate, we don't know, but then this is there for us to study. Or another example we could take of Shyama Sastri. So where we see that in the Bhairavi Swarajati, Kamakshi, where Brova Shri Bhairavika Maya. So where throughout the composition he is giving different descriptions of the goddess. So finally he ends up as Brova Shri Bhairavika Maya. Another example we could take is of Sri G.N. Balasubramaniam in one of his compositions in Keeravani. Ni charana bujamunu, where he uses Shri Purari Rani Keervani, Shri Purari Rani Keervani. So the Keervani or Keeravani Ragam also symbolizes the name of the Ambal here. So like this we see that the Raga Mudra plays a very, very important role in the sense that it helps us to identify the raga of the composition. Of course, as I said earlier also, unlike Dikshadhar, most others have really not incorporated this Raga Mudra into their compositions. But in the Dikshadhar compositions, this serves as a very valuable guide in terms of understanding what the raga of the composition is. And of course, his Raga Malikas and other Raga Malikas which have come, or the 108 Raga Tala Malika, in that you see that in the Raga Tala Malika especially, you see that the name of the Ragam as well as the Talam is also incorporated. Like this, these Raga Mudras serve a very, very important purpose. Of course, without the context, the composers have not just thrust the name of the Raga, because that makes it kind of meaningless. So nevertheless, the Raga Mudra serves a very, very important purpose in terms of guiding us and also to establish what raga that particular composition has been composed in.